basically, my whole thing is using humor in the service of conversion. And I'm going to explain why I do this, especially in email, in a minute. But before I tell you like why and how and where to use humor, I want to tell you how it works a little bit in the brain. So we're going to talk about why humor affects us, where it works in your brain, both cognitively and emotionally. We're going to talk about where it works best in your marketing program, specifically in your emails. And then we're going to look at like ways you can pretend to be funnier, even if you're not. And some people are like, you can't learn to be funny. And like, well, I have met people for whom that is true. Most people can learn to be at least a little bit funnier, or like fake it on paper or an email, right? Okay, cool. And then there was a piece that I cut because I am an overachiever, and I was like, I don't want to keep them here forever, but I do have like a little separate slideshow that you can have if you want. 3 customer lifetime boosting emails you should be sending if you're not sending them already. So you can have that later if you want, or not at all. And if no one asks me for it, I'll cry myself to sleep. Why does humor affect us the way that it does? Why do we see so many like funny emails and so many brands trying to be funny? And why do we feel this pull to do it and the fear of doing it wrong? Because making jokes is vulnerable. I'm feeling that way right now. Luckily, they gave me this giant sweatshirt to hide inside. I'm also very filled with mac and cheese and, like I said, whiskey. And we're vulnerable for good reason, right? We've made jokes in the past and we've like said something wrong and people have just met us with like silence or crickets and it sucks, right? And work is serious. For most of us, if we don't work for ourselves, we answer to someone and they are very concerned with not coming off as too goofy or too jokey because there is revenue tied to the email, right? All of these are great reasons. This is a cat with a human face. His work is serious. I don't know why, but I swear to God he's Russian. Doesn't he look like his name is like Vladimir? Okay. And the most important reason is we don't want to offend. We respect our customers. We respect our readers. We don't want them to open an email and get upset with us or make them, have them think that we don't value them. That's not English. Those aren't words, but you know what I mean? Yes. I'm here to tell you that we don't all have to be Cards Against Humanity. They can get away with it. These are 2 separate emails. Dear horrible friends, I'm going to use a laser pointer like a cat. I keep waiting for cats to like come out and be like, I see it. I've been here the whole time. We can't all call our readers horrible friends. We can't all call them consumers, right? That's their brand. That's not ours. And often the resistance that I get to being funny is like, we can't just turn that on. But you don't turn it on. It's not a binary. It's not an on-off switch, right? It's a spectrum. You can be a little funnier. You can be a little warmer and not even funny necessarily. So here's an example scale of humor. All the way to the left, we have Brooklinen. Maybe some of y'all have bought their very fancy, expensive sheets that are kind of like just regular sheets. Okay. I bought them too, I can say that. They have a book pun here, dive under the covers. It was about like reading books and also being in bed. Haha, double entendre. Very harmless, right? We have a sass here saying cover your back end. Also very tongue-in-cheek. The people who get it appreciate it. The people who don't aren't harmed by it. And then we get all the way up to like Shinesty. If you're not subscribed to their emails, please do that. And Cards Against Humanity, where Big Bulge Hunter is they're advertising like boxers with deer on the crotch. Cool, right? They're like balls to the wall, literally and figuratively. So like you can figure out where on this scale your brand belongs. You don't have to just be like from here to here all the way. This is me trying to convince you that humor is good, let's be funny, right? Even if you don't like me personally, which again, I will take personally and cry myself to sleep. How does humor work in the brain? The same parts of your brain that light up when you eat pizza or chocolate or have sex or like your boss is like, you're doing a great job. Those are the parts that light up when we get or make a joke. And actually, I just learned this the other day. This is a very simplified way of looking at it, but it happens that the cognitive parts of your brain, like the processing parts, get the joke, and then it sort of sifts down into the emotional parts, and we're like, ooh, I like that. That feels good. Cool, right? We want to make our readers feel good, yes? There are so many reasons to do that, because we're helping build a mutually rewarding relationship. So when they see your name in the inbox, they're like, I can't wait to read that. Not like, oh, these people, again, automatically mark as spam, archive without reading, stay on the list for 500 years until you finally purge it. Anyway, yeah, when you mess up, when you send an email that says asses instead of assets, you get like that leeway because they think, oh, there are people behind this. They've made me laugh. I like them. And there are also some studies showing that laughing boosts information recall. So if you make somebody laugh and then you say something, they're more likely to remember the thing that you said after they laughed. I'll try to demonstrate that at some point, but no guarantees. Okay. And then finally, and I think this is probably where I'm most interested, this goes along with building a relationship, right, between your brand and the reader. Humans are constantly going through life differentiating, like, am I working or am I playing? The telic state and the paratelic state. We don't know that we're doing this consciously. But when we're in the telic state, we're working hard, we're not open to humor, right? You've always been plugging away on a deadline and somebody's like, look at this teacup pig pushing a shopping cart full of beer. You're like, not right now, Susan. I'm in the zone. And then there's the paratelic state when you're like, I'm going to spend 5 hours on Reddit looking at teacup pig memes. There is that subreddit, I promise you. And so we want to help people consciously differentiate between when they're working and when they're playing, and we want to be part of that play state too, right? So goal state, play state, haha. The joke here is that the kid was working, the adult's on the thing. It's not, it's not hard. But we don't want to make people feel like every time they see our brand name in their inbox, like this is homework, right? So that's a huge reason to use humor here and there in your emails. So now you're like, all right, I'm sold, fine. I'll sit through the rest of this because I have to because she's watching me. How do I pick what to joke about? And that's usually where people get stuck. They're like, I'd like to be funnier in our emails. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to joke about. It turns out the same kind of customer research you should already be doing to figure out your messaging, kind of like the gentleman earlier was saying about Lucid Charts use cases emails. They figured out how people were using the product. Like you're doing that kind of like open mic, hey, what are you using us for kind of thing to your customers. You can also say, hey, what are you watching? What are you reading? What are you listening to? What podcasts are your favorite? What cartoons did you grow up with? And then you ask your team the same thing. What's happening in Slack? Like what memes are people passing around? What's the go-to, somebody earlier used Friends, right? Because we're like immediately like pulling from that goodwill, that shared goodwill that we all have like watching Friends. Personally, I hate Friends, but really alienating everyone. I clearly do hate Friends. Yeah, so ask your people what they like, ask your customers what they think is funny, and then look for the patterns and preferences that come up. Do people kind of like affiliative buddy comedy stuff? Do they like more like dark, morbid humor? Are they crass? Are they highbrow and witty? What kind of stuff gets the biggest bang for your buck, humor-wise? For both you and your team, see where those things overlap, like what's everybody watching, what's everybody joking about in Slack. Oh my God, that's what you should joke about. Like those are the things that will get you the most return on using humor in your copy, in all of your marketing, honestly, but we're talking about emails today. So then once you figure out what to joke about, you have to figure out how to deliver jokes. And as an aside, when I say jokes, I don't mean necessarily like jokey jokes where like a guy walks into a bar and has some whiskey and then goes to speak at an email conference. Anything can be a joke, right? Anything that's designed to give us that moment of levity can be a joke. So don't restrict yourself to like, I'm writing a subject line and it's ha-ha funny. It doesn't have to be like that. It can be a GIF, it can be whatever. How do you deliver jokes about your topics? I think there are two really safe ways to go. There's observational humor, when we're talking about something that we can both see and observe in the environment that's funny or weird. And then there's self-deprecation, which we were just talking about at lunch. People can't get mad at you for making fun of yourself. They can leave you. Totally not speaking from experience. But they can't really get mad, right? So as an example, Jerry Seinfeld's like a great representation of observational humor. He's like, what's the deal with airplane food? Which is my Jerry Seinfeld impression. I'm so sorry. My apologies to Mr. Seinfeld. He's fine. He doesn't need me. So he's talking about something that we haven't necessarily thought of by itself before, but once he calls attention to it and he says, here's why this is weird and funny, we're like, that's safe to laugh at. It's not you, it's not me, it's that, cool. How does that look in copy? Here is Digit, Does anyone use the app Digit? Oh my God, it's amazing. One cool person. I'll send you my referral link. I'm not supposed to pitch anything from stage. I think that's okay. Digit steals money from you when you spend money, and it saves it for you. It's kind of awesome. It sounds worse. I made it sound bad. But they're like, hey, Lianna, your savings should be there when you need it most, like that time you bought a coffee and it cost you $5 plus $35 in overdraft fees. Oh my God, yes, that's happened to me when I accidentally overdrafted my checking account and got socked with another fee because the bank's like, that's what she needs right now. And Digit is like, here's the thing that's happening in the world. It sucks. That's why we have this new feature, low balance protection, when you overdraft. Oh my God, what a great segue, right? Like you made me laugh and then you told me a cool thing. It doesn't have to be harder than that. Here's me on stage doing a talk a while back. As I walked on stage, I realized I had dressed exactly like Link from Legend of Zelda. And I said that, and that was like the biggest laugh I got the whole time, which it still burns. But that's me being self-deprecating in a way that people are like, that is true. And you have to have the stomach for it, right? And you don't want to go too far. We were talking about this at lunch. If you are constantly making fun of yourself or your brand, you do start to erode trust. So you don't use it sparingly, but do use it. It's funny when brands have a sense of humor about themselves. How does this look in copy? Here is an example from a software onboarding series I wrote. He's talking about how to track your follow-up emails. That's a dancing cat gif. And the caption is, just look at me now. The joke is that the founder of the SaaS is a dancing cat. Again, not a jokey joke. Not that funny, but in the B2B SaaS world, hilarious, right? Doesn't have to be really thought out. So, my friend designed my slides, and I was like, can you have 2 baseball caps for the recap slide? She's like, no, that's really dumb. And I was like, do it, Julia. I'm still pleased with it. I love it. So we talked about why humor is important, and if you need to convince anybody upstairs that it's a good idea to start being funnier in your emails, now you know that it has cognitive, emotional, social benefits. We've talked about how to choose your humor topic, figure out what's funny to you, figure out what's funny to your readers, pick from those topical cultural things. Also, if you're at a loss, go to Reddit. It is a cesspool, but they do know what's happening. Some parts of Reddit are so bad. So now, we're going to talk about where to use humor. And usually, when I'm talking about this stuff, I'm talking to people who are not just focusing on email, and I have to sort of convince them. If we think about marketing as a funnel, should we use humor up here? Should we use it here? Should we use it here? Where do y'all think we should use it most? What? All over. I like this answer. Anyone else? There's many schools of thought. 2 at least. I'm going to give you mine, which is that you probably don't want to use it on your homepage, right? Especially if you're B2B and you're not sure about it, that's a really risky play to be like, here's what we do and who we do it for and why you should care, and also we're funny. Most people can't nail even 2 out of the first 3, so don't add humor there, right? But if people are clicking around inside your site, maybe you do want to reward them here and there with headers, subheaders, funny photo captions and asides, body copy, parentheticals as they're reading to be like, oh yeah, someone human wrote this. Oh, I do like this. I'll keep reading, right? And then always use it in your emails. Why not? You have this one-on-one connection with people, right? That's where you would be funny to your friends, hopefully, and then they would laugh and you would feel good and not just, friendship is over. I'm making a lot of jokes about people leaving me. It's been a hard couple years. Ooh-wee, all right. So where inside your email program should you use humor? They're like, she moved on from that joke real fast. And I moved on from you too, Corey. Cool. His name is Corey. So use humor to get people on your list because we're so tired of bad pop-ins. Pop-ups, right? Are we not? Why would you not use humor to disarm people at a moment when they're likely to be annoyed with you? You'll get more people on your list. So here's Suna. They do, I don't know if anyone's used Suna. Yeah, right? No? Okay, they're really cool. They do like product photography. And they pop up and it says, hey boo, don't ghost us. We have a feeling our newsletter could be crush-worthy. And then I love this CTA, please yes. Please yes. Even just that reversal of like the common syntax is funny, right? And then my favorite part here is the what I would call click trigger copy, or the opt-out copy. No thanks, I'm seeing other newsletters. Now compare this to no thanks, I hate saving money. None of us are doing that, right? Right? You don't want to make somebody feel like a turd for like exercising agency. Like also they just got to your website. They don't want to opt in right now, that's okay. You don't have to be like, no, I'm an asshole who hates money. Don't do that. And then, who is this? Drizzly? Does anyone subscribe to Drizzly emails? They're so funny. They're so funny. Empty cup, not on our watch, get $5 off. Get $5 and then simple no thanks. And then down here, you're like, oh God, what is this? They're gonna sell my email address to like, Serbian hackers. Our lawyers caught wind of this offer and would like a quick word. Must be 21 and up, new customers only, cannot be combined, per applicable, blah, blah, blah. Okay, but that first entry sentence tells you, oh, somebody human paid attention to this. I trust you now, right? Another example, oh my God, it's really good emails. How did that get in there? So meta. I think this is actually one of the first examples that I screenshotted when I started talking about this stuff. Like, sorry for being an a-hole and interrupting. Boom, right there where the person is emotionally in their life. Hopefully. Hopefully they're not feeling even worse than that. We noticed that you may not be getting emails. Also, look at this like gentle language. You may not be getting emails that give you all this cool stuff. Like maybe you are. Maybe your pop-up is firing wrong and that's okay too. And then I'm okay with getting emails and having that activity tracked to improve my experience. Awesome. Maybe I would make this little button more fun, but they didn't ask me. And now they won't ever. I was gonna show you all this without all the GIFs and then I got really caught up, but I'm sorry for making you watch those GIFs a million times, like everyone else today. Yeah, okay, so use humor in your opt-in to get people on your list. Obviously use it in your subject lines. We're all in search of the best subject line for the best open rate because, as we all know, the subject line has one job, get the email opened. Everything else in the email has its own job, right? Subject line has nothing to do with click-through rates. I want to say it so many times, but you guys already know this. So like, how do you use humor in your subject lines? It doesn't have to be, again, a ha-ha joke. It can be somewhere on that spectrum of like warm and friendly and also piquing curiosity. So in copywriting, we say open a loop with your subject line. Just make sure that you close it in the email, otherwise people are going to be annoyed. You're like, you won't believe what this soccer mom did with, her belly fat and teeth whitening. Don't do that. This one person in the front is like, why do you keep looking at me? I'm so sorry. I just keep looking at you. You're my safe place. So here are some examples of what I think are funny subject lines. They're not necessarily like, ha-ha funny. But again, your dog wants you to open this email. Owls can swim. Here comes another holiday stunt. That was Cards Against Humanity. Shh, just for you. Creepy. So I was in the fetal position. OMG, there's a dog. And then the preview text, doggo inside. Click to see. Guess what? I love Recess, and we will talk about them a little bit more. They're a DTC darling that's doing everything right with email. Important note about bones. There are none in Recess, so that's a fun thing to do. Open your curiosity loop in the subject line, sort of answer it in the preview text, but still give them a reason to open the email, right? I opened it looking for bones. Is it working? Our psychic dog picked you some drinks. What a good boy. That's Drizzly again. You may notice a lot of dogs. So what I took away from that is when in doubt, add a dog. Honestly, it never, ever, ever hurts. So I went ahead and did it. Here you go. I didn't know how to make him transparent because I'm not a designer. Oh my God, rude. If you do add a dog, make sure he's not a narc. This dog is such a narc. Okay. Cool, so now we're getting into your emails, right? We've got people on your list. We've got them opening the emails. Where in your automated flows should you bring in more humor? I get so much ROI from working with e-commerce brands and adding funny stuff to like the details or like the things that come preloaded in Shopify and Klaviyo that no one thinks to change because it's so easy to just turn them on and leave them alone. especially like post-purchase or post-sign-up or post-whatever. You're like, all right, we already got their money. Send them the default Shopify order confirmation. That sucks. I don't know if y'all have ever bought from a brand that's like really fun and cute, and then you buy, and they're like, okay, fuck off forever. Thanks for buying. And you feel bad, right? I'm so sorry for cursing. I don't know. Is that a problem? Not for me. DTC brands, again, are paying attention here because usually they're in such crowded markets that they have to stand out everywhere possible. And so they're paying all the attention to the tiny little spots where other brands maybe aren't. So we're going to look at some examples. And yes, I do call these little spots copportunities. Thank you for laughing. I really needed that. Yeah, so here's Girlfriend Collective. They have a great email program. When you place an order, instead of the default Shopify thing, they say, you did that. Hey, you just did all these things. Like, reaffirm their great choice after they make a decision that benefits you. Remind them specifically what's happening now that they've given you their money. And then they say, not bad for a few clicks. Like, just underscoring how easy it was for you to like buy new clothes, but also save the world. I buy from them way too much. 1-800-CONTACTS, who I was just talking about earlier, you would not expect them to have such good and funny emails, but they do. So this is like if you send in a paper rebate, they have this automated email that comes back. Good news, we received your rebate information, have begun processing it. That means sometime in the not too distant future, you'll open a piece of mail that instead of asking you for money, is giving you money. And that will be a glorious day. Until then, 1-800-CONTACTS, like, what? Who wrote this? I love them. Are they single? Give them my number. And because we have so many designers here, I didn't want to like leave without talking about visuals. Don't worry, I'm not leaving. There's so much more. I'm so sorry. But I like to think about every email as a little stage, right? Or a canvas or whatever artistic milieu you grew up being told you were good at. It's a little stage. What are you going to do on it? It doesn't have to be just text. It doesn't have to be photos and text. It could be anything. As we saw yesterday, Sticker Mule's really good at sending those like really weird one-line sale emails. They're amazing. You don't have to be a great designer. Oh, God, yeah, don't do that. I forgot I added that. I was searching for Canvas. Just gonna let that sink in for a few more seconds. Don't do that. That's not good. Don't do that. Do this. Here's Recess again, one of my favorite brands to be on the email list for. It's a long dog. A long dog elongated, made longer, lengthified. And they say, this is Long Boy Barry. He wants you to know that you can subscribe and save $10. Like, they could have just said subscribe and save $10, but instead they treated us to this, which on mobile is so fun. So like, how can you use the space that you have in a more interesting and creative way visually? And again, it doesn't have to be designy, it can be text. I think this is hilarious, text-based email, but they want you to click on this, so instead of a link, they're like, here's a big honking button that's breaking the formatting of the line above it. I think that's hilarious. I wrote this as a cold email template that I challenge any of you to use if you have to do cold email, because I get so many bad cold email pitches. So this would be subject line, this email contains weather, hey, Charlene, dang, this email is so cold it's snowing in here. And then we have some snow. Burr, huddle up with me to stay warm. What's that? The only thing that could possibly save you from frostbite is hearing about the thing that I do? Okay, if you insist, and it goes on. So far, no one has sent this, as far as I know. I don't cold email, but I would with this. If you use this, will you tell me? Someone said yes, okay, great. But yeah, I just used a bunch of asterisks and dots. Like it's not, I didn't design that. I don't know how to design anything. Another place, we kind of touched on this before, where to use funny copy, where to add a touch of levity and humanity. Footer copy, PSs, everybody reads the PS. People scroll to the email, they see the PS, they're like, oh, this is important. Like, this is drilled into me from decades of reading letters where they're like, postscript, I'm on a ship sailing from England. I may not arrive for 17 weeks. No, just me? Okay. I date old people. And in the unsubscribed language, that's your opportunity to keep someone with you, right? Like, don't make them angry and then they scroll to the bottom to unsubscribe and you're like, all right, get out of here, bye. You can go. Bad Unicorn is a fun list to be on. Honestly, I don't even know if they're a real company. I think they're like a VC fund. They invest in bad ideas maybe. But they say, you received this email because either you subscribed or someone else signed you up because they have incredible taste and did you a solid. Again, reaffirming the greatness of staying on the list. If it ever gets too much, we added this eject unsubscribe button here for emergencies. It's like cute. You might get down there and be like, oh, I'll stay. I think the footer in my email list says, you received this because you were a part of the very fun and cool Punchline Copy Club. If you have to leave, I'll cry forever, which is becoming a theme with me today. I cry a lot, it's fine. Even when they click through to update preferences, because maybe they don't want to leave. We all know, like, if you have different segments, don't let someone just unsubscribe because you forgot to add a link to the preference center. Nobody ever updates the copy in the preference center. So here's AppSumo. It's time we have the talk. Where are we? Or what are we? Where's this relationship going? Can we meet your mother? They're also doing a fun thing here with the rule of 3, which I don't have time to talk about today, but the rule of 3 is a really important thing in both copy and comedy. Talk to me about this later. Just making up reasons for you to talk to me. Cool. This is the part that everybody wants to get to right away, and I'm always like, no, I have to make you understand how important humor is, and I didn't have to probably. We could have probably just done this. But anyway, we're gonna look at ways you can edit your existing copy to feel friendlier and warmer, even if you yourself are having a terrible day, or you don't feel funny, or you're not funny. And I've helpfully divided these punch-ups into 3 categories. So when you're writing your copy, you wanna show your emotions, piss off your grammar teacher, and lead the way. I put a dog on it. Judging by the stack of CD-ROMs in the background, this dog has been dead for decades. This dog is just dust. He is no longer, and he was haunted before he left this plane. Anyway, good stuff. What's an easy way to show your emotions in copy? Write in all caps as if you're yelling. Do it sparingly. Choose one word or a short phrase because you don't want to be like your grandma texting, right? So here's an example. Rockin' Green sells laundry detergent. They say, the never-ending chores, the dishes, the tidying up, the laundry. Oh, for crying out loud, the laundry. We all heard it that way, right? Like when reading it? Yeah? That's how you add more emotional cadence to your emails. You can also do it in italics. That's fine. I like caps. What's another way? Describe a sound. When you read a description of a sound, your brain actually is like, I hear that sound. So choose comic book words or onomatopoeia like bang, boom, crash, other things that sound like bang, boom, and crash. Pow, zap, whap. I'm just reading off this graphic now. Or describe the sound. So Purple, I love their emails, I love all their copy. Awesome explosion noise. It's lazy, but the funny is that it's lazy, right? Like what would an awesome explosion noise sound like? You get to decide yourself. Again, none of this is rocket science. Make asides. So an aside is if you were whispering into your reader's ear in a parenthetical usually. Like, here's where we're gonna tell you a joke, or like, we're best friends now. So here's Warby Parker. Transactional email could have just been like, hey, dummy, you lost your password. Sucks for you, here's the link. And they say, sorry to hear your password's gone missing. It happens to the best of us. Oh my God, thank you, Warby Parker. I don't feel like such a dumbass anymore. Poopery in their confirmation email. Notice how I'm picking like the little pieces that nobody thinks about enough. They say, confirm your awesomeness / your subscription. If your spouse signed you up as a stinky hint, or if you accidentally signed up while sleep interneting, or if you simply received this email by mistake, just delete it. You won't be subscribed if you don't click the confirmation link, but we might cry a little. And I was like, fellow criers, my people, I found them. Another way to add emotion and fun and also a little bit of visual interest to your text-based emails, if you're like me and you mostly write text-based. Use GIFs or GIFs, an emoji, and if you want to have that fight, I am going to go to the airport directly after this, so let's not. Here is a fun way to use a GIF, like what emotion is the person feeling as they're reading this? or not a GIF, an emoji, and then pick the emoji that's that emotion. It's like, it's easy, right? But it draws your eye around the email. Can I do this? I don't know. Here's me undies using a fun GIF in their order confirmation email. It's pretty simple, but that's fine because it's a short email. You're gonna open it and be like, celebration, visual celebration, here are my order details, I'm done. Here is how not to use a GIF. And I think Megan kind of touched on this before. From the accessibility standpoint, they can get really distracting, they can be kind of weird, they can be irrelevant if you haven't done that customer research to know what kind of things people think are funny. So here's an email from a SAS my friend Allie helpfully forwarded me. Reminder to add your sync today. This is a reminder to add your sync in product name. You can change the time of this reminder. And then there's like this really long, weird, small anime GIF. And there's making out in it. And it takes like, a few full seconds. And then it's above the button for what you want somebody to do. It's like they just get stuck on that. So I like to say, even if it's not a reference your reader's gonna get, make sure it's like universal anyway. So like cute animal, cute baby, even if I don't get what show it's from, it's still gonna play. Maybe no kissing, maybe nothing that lasts a really long time and goes so fast. And when I gave this talk at a software conference, the AV guy came up to me afterward and he was like, do you really not know what that's from? And I was like, tell me, AV guy. And he was like, it's from Avatar, The Last Airbender, so now I know. I was like, but do you use this software, AV guy? I don't think so. All right. Another section of punch-ups, piss off your grammar teacher. I feel like we're all maybe millennial, Gen X. We grew up learning that good writing had an intro sentence, 3 body sentences, and a conclusion. We've learned in email a little bit that like 1-sentence paragraphs are okay, because they're easier to skim, yes. You can take it further than that. Oh, that's the acronym for piss off your grammar teacher. Super memorable, right? Point, okay. Contract and abbreviate your words. This is, again, an easy edit you can do with your existing copy if you go through and you see that you've said like, do not fear, your data is safe with us, or like, I have to tell you. No, you wouldn't say I have to tell you. Here's an example of a thing that I'm trying to explain right now. Here's a SAS. They send me a check-in email that's trying to be conversational and fun, and they say, hi, Lianna, how is it going? Which automatically made me think, I was like, a human didn't write this, right? It's like, how's it going? It's the way that we talk as humans, right? It's okay to talk human, even like the stodgiest CEOs at the biggest B2B corporations are humans. To put it another way, everybody poops. So here's an example of a simple abbrev instead of want to, wanna. Here are some more examples. Gonna, wanna, gotta, ASAP, noob. And I really want somebody to use all of these in the same email and then send it to me. I'll give you something cool. I don't know. We won't agree on what the something cool is. Chop up your sentences. We all learned a sentence has to have a subject, a verb, a direct object. No, it doesn't. That's not the way we speak. So, it's kind of washed out, but this is who gives a crap. And they say, toilet paper delivered to your door. Well, to your front door, to your bathroom would be creepy. To your bathroom would be creepy is not a full sentence, but we know what they're talking about, right? We don't miss a trick. So feel free to do more of this kind of fragmenting in your copy because A, it gets you where you're going faster, and B, it's more conversational. Here are some cliches to cut that I see all the time. Everybody wants to save time and energy. That's like literally what we're on the planet to do. So maybe stop promising that as a benefit, because it's like, what does that actually look like? How much time? What kind of energy? Is it like stay in and Netflix binge energy, or is it like go out and meet somebody new energy? It's not the second one, I can tell you that. Yeah, it's easy and fun, cute and comfortable. Chances are, if it comes to mind very easily, it might sneak into your copy and it might actually be like a nothing phrase. So when in doubt, try to be more specific. Go through and look at your verbs and your adjectives and see where you can replace them with something that you could see or smell or hopefully not taste. So sensory words, touch, taste, and smell, like we were just getting way too excited about, or I was. And then emotional words, like how do you feel about this thing? We've already talked about using GIFs and emojis and all the other good stuff to add emotion to your copy. Specificity helps with that. So this is a client of mine. They are a consulting company for SaaS, and I wrote for them. We don't think it should take a cereal box decoder, Rosetta Stone, or black magic goat sacrifice just to make it easier to understand your AWS bill. Previously it said, we don't think it should be so hard to understand your AWS bill. I think more people will remember the black magic goat sacrifice and maybe like reply and be like, hey, that's weird, I just sacrificed a goat this morning. Still don't get my AWS bill though. Oh, and in CTAs, this is the best place to be specific, right? You're going to preview what's coming after the jump. You're going to make them excited. You're going to deal with any doubts or objections they might have for clicking. And then, like, I don't know, make it funny, right? Instead of shop now, launch me into the shoposphere. Was it Chubby's that sent the abandoned cart email that was like, whisk me back to my cart, James? Or like, teleport me back to my cart. Like, it's fun, right? You're shopping for swimsuits and shorts, like have a good time. You can still do this if you're not in a fun industry, I promise. You will get more clicks. So here's Lush saying instead of shop now or shop Halloween, shop new in store, summon the new. Spooky. And again, this isn't like haha funny, right? This is just like having more fun. Ooh, here's one of my favorite tips and tricks. Sometimes people who are getting started with humor in copy are like, I want to exaggerate, but I don't want to lie about what we do or what we can do. So instead of using exaggerated, funny language around yourself or your product, use it with what your people are facing, what problems they're having. So here's how that might look. You're not making claims. You can turn people into 6'4" astronauts, but you are saying you wake up in the morning feeling like you got hit by a dump truck, right? No one feels that way. Okay. Everyone here sleeps amazing. Must be nice. Okay. Here it is again. This is what we in the humor industry call a callback or a snapback. Thank you. Thank you. I'll be here all day. No, I won't. So we talked about showing your emotions in fun ways using visuals. We talked about shortening your sentences to get to the point faster, using hyperbole. And now we're going to talk about the most important part of every email, the CTA. Again, my designer picked this photo with this graphic, and I was like, that's so creepy. She was like, I know. So we left it, and now it's just like part of the family. I see it at night when I close my eyes. Yeah. So what is the best way to get somebody to click, to go where you want them to go from the email, because that's the point of sending an email, right, to get them to go somewhere. Ask and answer questions, because that's how people talk, again, and it like helps set you up for the copy point you want to make. So the good news, you can improve your overall flexibility without stretching. I especially love this as a text-based CTA because it's super long, very clickable, very readable. When you skim the email, you see it stand out, right? It's not just like improve your flexibility, 3 words, like someone's looking at their phone like, I can't click this. And he set himself up for the CTA. It's great. Another way that you can like set yourself up for the click-through is to trail off with ellipses. We're copywriters. We don't have like fun drum rolls. This is the best we can do. Is the ... Ooh, something exciting is gonna happen, I really hope. But notice also, the second sentence here is shorter. So when your eye gets done with that first sentence, you kind of move down to the end of that second line, and you see the ... and that cues you like, oh, something important is below this. I should look at that. So like, look at the shape of your copy while you're writing it, and not just the words. We're not even gonna get into that, because that's a whole thing, but look up the iceberg layout. I had to say it. I still get emails from like established brands that are like, hey, here's a photo. All right, bye. And it's like, I feel angry that you stole my time from me. I don't even know what I'm supposed to do. So yes, please include a call to action. It can be a button. It can be a button and linked images. It can be linked text. It can be whatever. I don't care. Just tell people what to do next. So here's a fun example from TunnelBear. They're a VPN service. They're doing so many things right with this little CTA section. Notice how they're setting you up with a question, need more data on your VPN service, and they say, upgrade my bear, exclamation point. It's super specific. I know what's gonna happen. It's written in first person, so it's like easy for me to parse. And then underneath it, it says, have something else to rawr about? Contact one of our friendly support bears. Well, that is just so gosh darn cute. I love them. I don't even use a VPN. I don't know why I got this email. I bet they get a higher click-through rate on that than a test variant that says like add more data, right? Again, here is an example sent to me by my friend Allie, bless her heart, who gets bad emails and sends them to me. A bad call to action. It's good, it's on its own line, it's centered, not underlined, don't know it's a link, right? And then it's like, take a look inside brand name. Oh, I added the vomit face in case that wasn't clear. That's me barfing on this email. There's no reason for me to click this. I don't know what's going to happen when I click through. There's no urgency. And also, the copy that precedes it, somebody was like, I don't know, what are some words that start with M? Take a peek into our musings. It's like I'm at a slam poetry event. I don't know what that means. Okay, so that's bad. Don't do that. Be specific, right? We've talked about this. Okay, here's the section that I cut. I would love to send you these examples and why I think they're cool, or I'll give them to Jess and she can send you the link. I don't know. I will leave you with this. Sending an email without a call to action is like sending a pregnancy announcement featuring a bazooka. You can, but you shouldn't. I added one. Yeah? Oh, that's just for me. Okay. To sum it up, everything we talked about today, using humor is a scientifically proven way to build a better and more rewarding and longer-lasting relationship with your email audience. You'll figure it out by asking people what they think is funny, and that includes your team. Make jokes about what's around you or yourself to avoid offending people, and then go through your existing copy line by line and punch it up using the techniques I just showed you. And that's it. And I'm on the internet. Oh, and I teach a course about this if you want to get real deep in the weeds about comedy. Thank you so much.